Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. This afternoon I've made it out to Landguard Point here at Felixstowe to capture the high tide and some of the other images and fantastic compositions and structures that are around this very old part of Felixstowe, and hopefully battling the wind I will succeed. But a couple of compositions I've already taken my eye, so let's see if I can come up with a few more as well. That wind is really biting. Let's put these gloves back on so I can know what I'm doing. Oh, right, first composition, swapped over to the wide angle lens, 17mm on the lens, and taking an image of this lovely sand dune that's here at the beach at Landguard Point. What a fantastic area. There's so much here to shoot. Pockets, not much of sand dunes as such in comparison to other areas I've been to, but little sort of tufts of it every so often, and yeah, some slightly larger than the others, but they make for a really enjoyable foreground interest. So with this image I've got it set up on 17mm as I mentioned, f11, ISO 50 as normal, and bracketing the image. Base image though is 1/40th of a second, letting it obviously take the 5 exposures and then blend them together. Why do I want to do that? Well, the direction that I'm pointing the camera in is towards the sun, even though it's completely covered up now by the cloud. However, there is a little bit of light in the cloud, so I may well be able to pull that out in post. But also taking the image in that direction, what I wanted to do is I've got the right exposure for the foreground interest and really lighten that up as well. Conditions and subject matter, sky and everything else really screaming out to me in black and white, but until I get back into the computer and process the image, I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, gut feeling is it's going to work out quite well for that one. Time to break out the big lens, I think, to capture some of these waves. Using the reach of the lens there just to pick out some of the waves as they're crashing onto the shoreline here, working out really quite well. Setting the camera up, I've got it on f6.3, ISO 400, and the shutter speed is about 1/800th of a second. Yeah, working out really quite well, just obviously freezing the water as it's crashing against the shoreline. And as the waves are rolling in, taking multiple images, got it on burst mode as well, working out really quite well. But yeah, it's just being careful though. Obviously, luckily enough, got the welly boots on. As the waves are rolling in and crashing up around my feet, at least my feet aren't getting too wet, or wet at all actually, so that's good. But yeah, it's an enjoyable type of photography, that is. Unfortunately, the waves aren't as big as I necessarily wanted to. However, that's fine because they're manageable, and it's not obviously going to be putting myself at risk, which is not really worth it, is it? So as you can see, a little bit of a change of weather gear now. I've got my full waterproofs on. I've also swapped over the vlogging camera so it's handheld, and the reason why I'm going to start to venture onto there now. Now you've got to be really cautious if you're deciding to do this type of photography. Luckily enough, what I've done is there's a couple of concrete platforms here that you can stand on, and I've swapped over to the Canon 24-105 lens on, and made sure that obviously as that lens is weather sealed as well, with any spray that comes up, it's obviously going to be at least I can guarantee carry on shooting for that one as well. The other thing that I wanted to quickly show you that I've done, I don't know if you'll be able to pick that out, let me just see if I can move around here. So the hot shoe, what I've actually done is put a bit of gaffer tape over the hot shoe as well, because any spray, any water going onto there, you don't necessarily want it to interfere with any of the electronics on the inside. I know you can actually get a proper hot shoe mount that obviously will cover it up. Unfortunately I don't have one, and yeah, gaffer tape always in the bag, definitely a handy piece of item to have, and it's going to do the job, to be honest, so that's absolutely fine. So yeah, as the spray is really sort of crashing over the top of this structure here now, let's go and have some fun. So with the camera set up here on the jetty, as you can see behind me leading out, got the waves sort of coming over the top, which is working out really quite well. Let's see if I can spin you around that way, so it's a bit better. I've got the vlogging camera strapped to me so I can not lose it, but working out really quite well for this one. Yeah, obviously just getting the camera this time in vertical orientation, lovely leading line of the old jetty here, and the waves sort of crashing over. Now I've obviously already focused and turned it over to manual focus, so each time the camera is not needing to hunt for the focus. I've got the camera set up on FA ISO 400, 250th of a second, and just waiting for those waves to smash in against the side and obviously really create that lovely pattern across the actual composition. Now what I've actually got is high tide is at 1 o'clock. Now the time now, as I'm getting covered, is 10 to 12, so I've still got an hour, over an hour until high tide. So this composition is only going to get better, but what I've got to be cautious of is my safety and my exit route, which luckily enough is directly behind you out to a solid walkway. So yeah, at least I know which way I've got to run just in case it obviously happens in that direction. But yeah, working out really lovely for this one, and just capturing those waves. So I've got another composition set up here. I took several images at 24mm. Now I'm in at about 65 to 70mm on the lens. Yeah, working out really, that's it, that's the one. And it's just obviously picking up as the waves are sort of crashing up against the structure here, working out really quite well. I have taken an image to expose for the foreground, because obviously trying to get a fast shutter speed, it means that obviously the dark areas of the image are going to be quite underexposed. So obviously taking a slightly longer shot. Oh, crikey, that's come right in over you. Oh, it's like that. Oh, yeah, wow. Yeah, these are the conditions, and fantastic they are, but you just got to be careful, as I said earlier. But yeah, working out really quite well. ISO 1000, 1/800th of a second, f8, yeah, enjoyable. This is really enjoyable. But as I said before, if you are coming out to do this type of photography, make sure that you're safe when you're doing it. But it is good fun. Oh crikey, that is quite quite brutal with that those conditions with the waves. As you can just see, that's where I was standing up there taking the images. Sorry, hang on, I'm just sorting out the vlogging camera. Oh dear, wow, the EOS R is absolutely dripping. Look at all of that. Wow, it is. It's good fun. The waves actually came over and went down inside my jacket as well at one point. It was oh dear. But yeah, taken several images, obviously not vlogged it. I'm not risking obviously getting the vlogging camera wet. It's not like the EOS R that obviously I feel a bit more confident obviously getting that splashed with the water, even though obviously it's salt water, so I make sure that I wipe it down with a damp cloth with fresh water when I get back home. But yeah, wow, what conditions. The weather from earlier on today when I was over at Dovercourt is definitely turned, and it was predicted, and that's why I wanted to come to this location to obviously capture these waves smashing up against this structure here. And yeah, the only trouble is making sure that you've got enough on the file size, isn't it, really, on the camera. I normally keep a 64 gig card in there, so I make sure I deleted and cleared a lot of space on that before I came out today. So yeah, I should have had got several hundred images left to take, so we'll definitely make sure I make the most of that one. But wow, I think what I'm going to do now, excuse me, I did a couple of compositions of some slightly long exposure, only 0.3 of a second to get obviously that water. What I'm going to do now, as the tide's obviously coming in, it's about 20 minutes till high tide, so obviously I'm back on the actual walkway here, so on a little bit of security. I'm going to have a look now at the structure and see if I can take a little bit of a long exposure without needing the actual ND filters on, because to be honest it's just going to attract any rain or any splashes from the waves onto it. So yeah, hopefully they'll come out really well. Oh, I'm making sure I'm turning this way because the rain's coming into my face, but I don't want it to get onto the vlogging lens. But wow, absolutely fantastic. The Canon EOS R has really taken a beating, but yeah, it's fantastic. High tide is about now, but I am absolutely soaked. Wow. I've enjoyed myself. That's the main thing, isn't it, really? You've enjoyed yourself and you're putting yourself in these brutal conditions. Safety is key. I can't stress enough, safety is key. Excuse me. But I've taken some long exposure, or semi-long exposures. Oh, that's getting in my eye. Semi-long exposures of about half a second, 0.3 of a second. Yeah, obviously working out really quite well. F22, F18 as well. Yeah, obviously, hopefully the images have come out well, and the effort that you put in to do this has worked out really well. And yeah, to be honest, doesn't this epitomise dedication? But anyway, I've enjoyed it, and that's ultimately the main thing. Hopefully you have as well. Apologies about obviously the B-roll and lack of it when I've been doing this type of photography, but as you can appreciate, it's challenging at the best of times, and juggling two cameras and everything else, particularly now as the rain's obviously coming down, it's a little bit challenging to say the least. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Whoa, And until next time, when hopefully I'm not being blasted by the rain, take care. Please leave us a comment. Consider subscribing. And until next time, woohoo! Take care, thank you.